Do any of you remember playing the game, or maybe you still have it, the game called Trivial Pursuit? I used to play that game, and then Christians came out with their own version called Bible Trivia. I do remember playing those games, and I remember not being very good at either one for at least two reasons. First, I tend to be slow. When I'm asked a question, I often ruminate on it. The dial in my brain gets set to slow cook. My chin tilts slightly downward while being held in my hand. I am thinking about this question. And second, I'm not very good at remembering and memorizing like Bible facts. For example, a question: which of the two dreamers in prison with Joseph was executed? Now, I don't know the answer to that. I mean, I'm looking at my notes here, and I see it's found in Genesis chapter 40, verse 22. The chief baker. But fortunately, my status as a child of God does not depend on answering these kinds of questions. If you caught me later today and asked, John, name the 12 disciples right now, I'm just not sure that I would be able to do that. But I do know that Jesus called 12 to follow him, and he told them to leave everything for the sake of his kingdom mission, and that none of them had graduate degrees. I also know, and this is what really interests me, that Jesus discipled them. He mentored them to do what? What any mentor would do, namely, to teach his followers to do what he does and the way that he does it. I think this is more important, at least for me, to understand than being able to memorize their names. New Testament scholar Richard Bauckham explains it this way: by accompanying Jesus at all times, the disciples were to learn from him how to continue his own mission, to heal and to exorcise demons, to bring the good news of the kingdom to the destitute and the outcasts. Pastors, here's a thought. Instead of focusing on how will we attract people this coming Sunday or in the future, mentor some disciples. And 12 would be enough. I mean, really, to change culture and change the world. These 12 no-name Jesus disciples began to do what Jesus did. Jesus equipped them. He gave them authority. He taught them to testify, proclaim, and demonstrate. He taught them to tell and show, show and tell. We see this in Luke chapter 9. When Jesus had called the 12 together, he gave them power and authority to drive out all demons, to cure diseases, to proclaim the kingdom of God, to heal the sick. And so, in verse 6, they set out and went from village to village, proclaiming the good news and healing people everywhere. I may not remember the names of the 12, and I'm sure I'm going to forget the chief baker mentioned in Genesis chapter 40. But I do remember what Jesus mentored the disciples to do. And this so impressed me that at one point at Redeemer, we changed our mission statement to read like this: the mission of Redeemer Fellowship Church is to heal the sick, deliver the oppressed, raise the dead, and proclaim the good news of Jesus and his kingdom. Now, perhaps you're thinking, whoa, those are big things, and what if they don't happen? My experience and understanding is this: when they do happen, you'll know that it's God, and it will be exhilarating and empowering. When you approach Christmas, this Christmas season, approach it as a disciple of Christ. as being in an apprenticeship to Jesus, to learn to do what he did, to say what he said, accompanied by power and authority.